Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, October 18, 2019, and I have a day off, so I'm going to take a walk. And we're at the intersection between College Point Boulevard and Fowler Avenue in Flushing. And check out the map. It says we are right here. So my plan is to walk from here into Flushing Meadows Corona Park and then come out the other side toward the Flushing Bay. So let's get started. So we're gonna come in here, the Fowler Avenue, and the border to the park will be only 1 block away. Now if you look to the right, there's a lot of these construction material stores and also some appliance stores. There's a lot of residential development going on, and a lot of these operations are over here near the College Point Boulevard, because I think this is where the rent is still cheap enough to support these guys. And up ahead, this little building here is still in construction. It's going to be another expensive condo. Yep, adding the word expensive is kind of mandatory because it is. It's New York, so everything is expensive. So to your left, this is the Avery Recreation Center for the New York City. It's operated by New York City Recreation Department. It has a gym and it has a pool. So it's if you want a cheaper alternative for your local, the commercial gyms, this is where you go. It's $75 for half a year and $150 for the whole year. This is a pretty. This one is actually a pretty good location. I've been there before. It's really nice. It's very popular, and there's always a lot of people. But today we're gonna pass it and we move on. More metal work factories. We're going to pass right under the I-678 overpass. And we're going to jump across this guy. All right, we're in. is it, Flushing Meadows Corona Park. Now if you want to drive here, like I say in many of my other videos, if you want to drive, this is where you can park, right under the bridge. You just have to go further ahead and then make a right turn, go under this bridge, and you come back here and go within one of these entrances. Or you could just enter from the outside and then just jump over the fence like I did. Or you can just walk over this opening right here instead. But yeah, that's now we're in. The swimming pool for the recreation center is actually this white building right here. The entrance on the back side, not the facility that I talked about in the back over there. So for those of you who are not local, this is called the Flushing Meadows Corona Park, or could be just simply referred to Flushing Meadows. It's one of the biggest parks in Queens. Actually, it's the 4th largest public park in New York City, with a total area of 897 acres. And compared to Central Park in Manhattan, I actually like this a little better, especially on days that you just want to see the greens instead of people. This is great, because today is 9:38 right now, and on a Friday, there's not a lot of people. See 2 over that way. Now, the Flushing Meadows Corona Park was created as the site for the 1939 New York World's Fair, and also hosted the 1964 New York's World Fair. So after the 1964 fair, the park fell into disrepair, although some improvements have taken place since 1990s and 2000s. So, yeah. So thankfully, this must look much nicer than what it used to be. Ducks, 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 ducks. Here's another view of the building where the pool is. So for today, I'm going to go down and probably go into Unisphere, and then I'll walk back towards the Flushing Bay, as I said before. There's a lot of things going on in this park. First of all, it hosted the World's Fair, and so there are a lot of these structures that was created at the time, and when we come, and has been here ever since. There's also the New York Hall of Science is part of this park. The Queen's Botanical Garden. There is this park is so big that you will not be able to finish in a day. So you always come back to different sessions. In the summer, there's also a dragon boat racing in one of the lakes on the other side. There is a lot of history with this park, but I'm not probably not very good at telling it. I can come back here and do another video. Maybe I'll do better at that time. I'm going to turn here. Every time I come here, these pools are dry, but I think at some point these pools are filled. We'll keep going up ahead. There's a sculpture in view. There's some renovation up ahead, so I couldn't go straight. Looks like they closed off a lot of the whole thing, so I can't walk. There's no paved walkway for it. So what happens? Work in progress for anticipated completion for 2020, and it's for the fountain of the fairs with flushing pool in construction. Okay, so it looks like they're going to repair this whole line of refreshment pool, and I'll get you a close-up. It looks like this when it's done. Okay, cool. We'll come back in fall 2020 and we'll see what happens. You see people are at work. And up ahead is the very famous Unisphere. We're here. Right behind the Unisphere is the Queen's Museum. There's your exhibits, your art exhibits, and little things, various exhibits for kids. I've been there a couple times, so it's so that's where you come. There's a parking in the back of the museum. Ooh, it's chilly. So the meaning for the Unisphere is to the mass achievement of sinking globe in an expanding universe. That's interesting and good to know. And it's a stainless steel structure that's been in here since the World's Fair. So we make a left, right, and we're going north in this direction, and we'll go all the way up to the waters, where the you see where we're going. Now the Flushing Meadows Park used to be a dumping ground for a lot of trash. I think it's also called ash. Called an ash dump. Corona dump or Corona ash dumps for the past for the 30 years between World War I and World War II. Interesting. How do I know? Wikipedia. Here's another sculpture. Now up ahead, this is for the tennis courts. There are more across the bridge over there. On the other side is this Hall of Science and Queen's Zoo. The sign tells you. The Hall of Science, Carousel, and the 111th Street towards that direction. And Queen's Botanical Gardens, this direction. So we'll go this way. This looks nothing like the ash dump that they used to call this, huh? And it's all thanks to the New York City Parks Commissioner, Robert Moses. Robert Moses had a lot of involvement in how the New York City has become what it is. In case you didn't know, all these parkways, the reason all these parkways are so curvy is because Robert Moses had decided that how the people should be driving on the parkways. He had a vision where when people drive on the parkways, they will be driving in curves, looking at all the sceneries and being all nice and stuff. So that's why in New York City, all the parkways are curved like crazy. But on the expressways, because they are part of the interstate system, they're all straight, and you're supposed to move all the commercial big trucks on expressways because they're designed for fast and quick transport, but parkways are not. So that's one little things that I know why Robert Moses has influenced the development of the New York City. So he also had a part in this. He envisioned the site become a central park because at the time he conceived the park, there's this whole urban sprawl going on that he imagined that people are moving out big cities like Manhattan and move out to Long Island. So he imagined that Queens and to a certain extent Long Island is going to be the real central area where all the people are, so that's where the real Central Park is going to be, right here. So we walk around one of the tennis courts. I'll come back and fill in the name for it. So if you see between the roofs, the city fields is very far away from here. There you go. It's called the Billie Jean King Tennis Center is right there, up there. And we're going back up. Going back up north. Actually, the best way to go up is through here. So this will lead you up to the subway station. I'm pretty sure those clacking noise is not a wind chime, but I don't even know where they came from, but sounds pretty good to me. Island Railroad this way. So this place, it looks very empty right now, but it will all be filled on a game day. So here are the train platforms. So this is where the 7 trains are, where they are not on the tracks taking people. And if you go on to the maps and look, there's a little curve on 111th Street that curves back to this area. So that's where they're from. Very interesting. That's the bus depot. That's the Mets-Willets Point subway station for the 7 train. I'm sure these gates are going to open on the game day to get people quickly in and out. But for other days, you have to walk around and go through the smaller gates. So I'm going to come down this way. So I'll be walking across the intersection like a good citizen, like everyone else does. sometimes these lights never turn. You have to come here and press this little button right here. About to just walk, but looks like the lights hear my voice and turn to a walk signal. Nice. So another way to get across without crossing this would be just walk up and across, then back down this way. I could have done that. Alright, so now we're at Mets Stadium. So Apple. In case you didn't know, the nickname for New York City is Big Apple. It's like this guy right here, Big Apple. Now there's no game right now, so I'm going to walk around it, see if I can come out the other side, and then go to the north end of the Corona Park. If not, I'll have to backtrack and walk around this. So what are these cars doing here? There's no game, but there's still so many people. See, look at all the cars. There are these tiles that you can donate and put a tile here. All right, so let's go. I think it's closed off on that end. Let's come around. Subway. I think it's possible that you can park here on a day there's no games, and then walk up to the subway or walk to the Long Island Railroad to commute. So it's part of the commute, and that's why all these cars are parked here. So let's say if you live in Long Island, but you work in Manhattan, what you do is that you drive up to Queens and park over there, and then you can walk over to the subway and take it the rest of the way. So that will save you some money and also give you flexibility when it comes to driving back to where you live. But I think that would take a long time, because even the 7 train takes about 40 minutes from Main Street to 42nd Street. And then if you don't work at 42nd Street, it's going to take you even more time. So we've just passed by a bunch of cleaning crew. I hope you don't know what this is. But yeah, these guys actually have a store here. Yeah, not a fan of those businesses. No drone zone. I tell you the truth. Actually, the whole New York City is no drone zone, because we're covered so well covered by airports and helipads. There's literally no areas that you could just fly a drone for without getting in trouble with the law. Now and again, if you want to fly a drone like a very low, like, you know, with like a person high and nobody sees you, obviously that's not going to be a problem. But you know, if you fly high enough and people notice you, get a report to the police, and they might trace it back to you, and you will be fined or even prosecuted, even worse. So you can just go to YouTube and search for these drone videos, and many of them will tell you how much they get fined and what kind of problem they get into. So it is what it is. Find another place to drone. Now this is the Willets Point car repair shops. This is where you find cheap car repairs. Now, driving into this area by itself is a challenge, because the road in there is very badly maintained. So you drive really drive at your own risk. It will be very bumpy. So it's a suspension test, that's what they call it. if you want cheap car repairs, this is where you'll get it. Okay, now how am I gonna get across? Yeah.
You sent? Oh.
Yeah, thank you. Smells good. Actually, no, it's not for China. Well, it is for people inside China can't see YouTube unless they get a little technically inclined and start jumping out of the Great Firewall of China. So, but yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It's for China, but mostly no. Another car repair shop. So, yep. Obviously, you're not gonna repair your Mercedes-Benz in this area, but you know, again, cheap car repairs. Willets Point. They also call it the Iron Triangle. Okay, now how am I gonna get in there with the fencing all the way around? I think this way. The other end kind of tapers off, so it's locked. I'm not jumping over this. I'm no ninja. There's in any ninja watching, you can teach me. Oh my goodness. So this is a less glorious part of the walk where you're just staring at the highway. watching cars fly by, and your sidewalk is kind of like all trashed up and other things. Okay, so I'm right. This is the way to get back. All right. I know I can walk further up into this, but I'm gonna jump this fence right here. Don't try this at home. Okay. So this is a northern end of the Flushing Meadows Corona Park, and we're looking at this pier right up here. There's really not much after this because this is basically a parking lot, an overflow parking lot for the city fields. But I'll show you the last spot before we head back. The Worldís Fairs Marina, Pier 1. Skyline cruises. And it's closed right now. So I'm going to head back the other way, and I'll show you how to exit from this park. So this body of water that we're looking at, like I said before in another video, it's called the Flushing Bay. And because of years of sewage dumping, is heavily polluted. But as we learn more about environmentalism, we kind of start cleaning this up a little bit. there's a dike that was built near the airport, and so that the sewage, the pollution can leave the space, just kind of stays here. And that's why there's been a lot of proposal on how to fix this. And people have been complaining about this rotten egg smell coming off this bay. Oh, the wind. There are these little clocks that's embedded into the poles here. So today I actually get a little bit of that salt water smell, but in terms of a rotten egg smell, it's not as bad. So I think the cleanup has been effective. Anyone need a chair? There are more of these plaques. Now don't fall out of that yellow tape, right? So right up ahead is called College Point. They say it's north of Flushing, and it's getting used to be a manufacturing neighborhood, like a lot of these construction stuff are there. Big warehouses. Pepsi has a warehouse over there, and also Department of Transportation have some bus depots over there, and it's also now getting a lot of attention because Flushing is so saturated and getting so expensive. So one of my relatives came and started looking at College Point. I'm like, hey, unless you are retired and you don't need to commute to work, then because in order for you to get out of College Point to go to work, you have to take a bus ride of 15 to 20 minutes before you get into Flushing. Then you can take the train or subway in Flushing. It's not the most convenient neighborhood for working people, but I guess for people who are retired or for whatever reasons you could, it's fine. I think it's quiet. Yeah, quiet is the word for it, for College Point. Well, technically it's not, there's nowhere in New York is quiet, but it's quieter compared to other neighborhoods like Flushing or Corona, or even Manhattan. So water fountain. Wow, there's actually water coming out. I'm surprised. So this is like, we're at the end of the park. This is where we're gonna exit, and we follow this going all the way back to Northern Boulevard and Main Street in Flushing. So I'll take you there, and hope you enjoy this video. I certainly do. There's another boat launch, permits required, Northern Boulevard Bridge. So let's keep going. It's a perfect place to bike. Who's calling me? So we'll follow this bike path. New York City Department of Transportation. And we'll keep going this way. You can find artwork just about anywhere. When you look around, this is a Perpetual Nature by Dina Lee. And here's another, someone else placed a sticker here about environmentalism. With 2 degrees of global warming, this place will be water. Oh no. So what are your thoughts on environmentalism? If you anyone really worry about global warming. We in America, there's a huge debate about this whole global warming thing. Now, it's in the US, it's a politically sensitive matter. But just speaking for personal experience, every winter for the last 20 years, I in New York, the winter has been indeed getting warmer and warmer. I remember there's this winter that because it was so warm that the plants, the trees are confused and start to bloom right in the middle of the winter. So their cycles are indeed being disrupted because of the gradual warming, year after year warming of the winters. So that's what I will, that's a little bit of my anecdote. Now, of course, if you want to debate this, then there's a whole bunch of science and pseudoscience. But, you know, we as people have to figure out together what to do about it. So that's this little artwork that DOT has put here on top of this divider right here for the bike path. Under this overpass here, this is where all the road building asphalts are being mixed and sent out to pave our road in Queens, I guess. It gets very smelly at times. Some lights never change unless you press the button, so keep that in mind when you're in New York. I mean, you won't be seeing this a lot in Manhattan and more busier places, but in these less frequent areas, you should press the button so to let the signal know that someone is waiting to cross. Because I certainly don't want to get run over by a truck. So let's go. So we can go across now. There's a slight elevation up this bridge. This is where the smell is getting much stronger. Alright, let's cross this as fast as we can because, oh, the smell. call that stuff? The bucket scoop machine. Scooping up all these gravels for concrete mixing. Okay, the smell is gone. And after this bridge, we're now back in Flushing. All these buildings that are in constructions. Look at that. Look at the two buildings over there. Oh. This one up ahead is also new. And that's another one. And right here, I don't know what they're doing. I think that one is not new. I think that one is just renovation. here in Northern Boulevard, and up ahead is Main Street. So we're back in downtown Flushing. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you stayed this long to watch the whole thing, thank you so much. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Subscribe for more New York City walking content. And I'll see you next time.